Hey, welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. So today is the start of an experimental project. I'm going to make a round coffee table that'll sit on a round pedestal base. And to make that pedestal, which is what we're going to start on, I'm just taking some rather rough lumber that I've got. This is actually pallet wood. I figured this is good to experiment with. So I'm going to cut these pieces into 18 similar sized pieces that will be glued together to form the pedestal. And then, coming up, not this episode, but in a future episode, we're going to make our bed rail router sled into a bed rail router lathe capable of handling a very large diameter product like this pedestal. So that is today's adventure. Cut these pieces to size and hopefully get them cut to shape, and then, if I can, glue them into the pedestal. Here are the 18 pieces that are going to be used to make up the pedestal. Next on the agenda will be getting a straight edge on each of these. Most of them are pretty good, so I can probably just run them through the saw to get a clean edge, and then I need to cut them at a taper and ultimately cut them off at another angle just to get flat base. But I may not even worry about that. I'll worry first about getting the taper that I want, and to make that taper I'm probably going to also need to make it cut at an angle. So I'm going to start by just getting straight sides. Right, the 18 blanks are now cut to a uniform width. What I need to do now is cut them to a taper so they're a little more wedge shaped, because they're going to be, as they glue together, they'll kind of go around in a circle. It's going to be 18-inch diameter on the bottom, 9-inch diameter on the top. So I've done the calculation on what that width needs to be. So I'll probably cut that, and then we'll, I'm not too sure if I want to make the cut with the bevel on it at the same time. So I'm going to think about that for a minute, come back when I have that strategy. So here's the plan. With each of these pieces now cut to the appropriate width, or to a parallel width, they're all the same, I'm going to run them through the saw and cut off one edge of this piece at 10 degrees. I need with 18 pieces going around a circle, that's going to be a 20 degree cut. 18 into 360 degrees is 20 degrees, which means every piece needs to be cut at 10, so that when the two pieces come together they meet at 20 degrees. So one side gets cut at 20 degrees. When everything is cut, then I'm going to bring out the tapering jig, and I can set the tapered edge against my guide on the taper jig, get the taper set to the appropriate width at the top and bottom, and run them through the saw again, getting the taper on the other side. So that's the plan. We'll start by just making a whole series of cuts, getting one taper done on each of these. our pieces have been cut. We got a taper on one side. Now what I'm ready to do is put it in the taper jig. So I've set this up now so that I'll be cutting along this line. We're 3 1/8 inch wide at the base, 1.5 inches at the top. Now I know that when I cut these, the top and the bottom are going to be skewed a little bit and actually need to be trimmed off. But I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I just need to be aware of that when we do the glue up. I don't want to be matching end for end. I want to have a little bit of an offset so that when it wraps around, it'll come out at the right dimension. So I'm going to go up on time lapse again. Have to make a cut, unscrew the jig, take the piece out, put the next piece in, screw down the jig, and away we go. So. So with all our pieces cut now, I can start the process of gluing them together. So we just kind of they will go together kind of like this. 18 of them all around. And yes, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get that done. What I want to do though, bring you over here so you can see this, is make sure I get this alignment right. I know that I have the pieces are skewed a little bit, so I'll bring this over and you can see what I'm talking about. So because of the way that I cut these pieces, I didn't make the tapers square to this edge here, so they're not perfectly in sync. In fact, what I've done is I've drawn a line here down the center of the piece, and at right angles to it is where that's where this edge should have been cut. But just for the ease of making use of the fence and the taper jig, I didn't. What it means then is that on each corner or each edge, I need to align the corner of the next piece about 1/8 of an inch like that, need to align it about like that as I tape them up. So that'll be the next operation then, taping them up, getting ready for glue. But before I do that, I'm gonna go grab a bite of lunch. All right, I have all our pieces laid out here the way that I want to tape them together. So I'm just going to apply some tape to this, then try and stand it up, bring it together, and see if I can put tape on it, see how the join meets up on the other side. And if that looks good, then we'll just kind of carefully lay it all down, get some glue between all these joints, glue it up. Let's see what happens. The theory was okay, but in practice this is becoming a little difficult. And difficult for a couple reasons. One is that the surface of the wood here varies, and there's a couple pieces that have some treatment on them where the wood is not, the tape is just not sticking at all. In this piece here, for some reason the tape's just not sticking to that at all. The other problem I see is that the pieces all have varying thickness. Not by a lot, just a little. So I'm kind of thinking that what I should probably do is run everything through the surface planer and get it to the same thickness. And then maybe try this operation again. It would also clean up the wood, and the tape would probably stick a little bit better to it. I'm probably going to need some more tape. So, surface planer, get everything even, and we'll try this again. So the wood is considerably cleaner now. So we'll put on some tape. This time I'm going to put the tape kind of across, just because I'm getting a little bit low, and let's just see how it sticks. So that worked out pretty well. Yep, that came out okay. I'm off just a little bit on this side. Not a lot. I think I can make a good glue joint out of that. What I'm going to do now is just get a clamp, a ratchet strap. And I'm just going to see if I can make a ratchet strap cinch this whole thing together a little tighter. I'm going to put in a couple screws just to keep this ratchet strap low. Just using my little tiny screws there. And yes, I know this will mark up the piece a little bit, but like I say, this is all fundamentally an experiment. Seems to be doing the trick. Minor adjustments here and there, but by and large, I like that result. So the math seemed to work out okay. I think I'm going to glue that together. All right, here it is, first time. I actually got some Titebond. I just got the Titebond 1. I understand Titebond 2 and 3 are weatherproof. They're good for outdoor use as well. But this is strictly an indoor piece, and it's an experiment. So just using Titebond. Well, let's get on with this glue up. All right, our little pedestal is now glued up. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I did intend to, I built it with some room for a cutoff and that kind of thing, so I'm okay with how it is. Yeah, just leave that dry. Got some Titebond on there. And next up, we're going to be putting this on a modified bed rail router sled and try and make this perfectly round. So, I call that a video for today. Pretty short. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.